Hey y'all, hey, it's Mama K here, and really quickly, because I'm not trying to hold you long, but I wanted to circle back to let you know that I finally finished Immortal Dark by Tigest Girma, and I have to say that this book was so freaking good, y'all. This is a 5-star read for me. I absolutely hate the fact that I took so long to read it, but I'm also not mad. And the reason being is because I didn't have to do a reread before Eternal Ruin came out. And now that Eternal Ruin is out, I'm debating as to whether or not I want to pick it up and continue the saga or wait at least until next year once we get confirmation of the release date for book 3. So that's first things first. Secondly, I thoroughly enjoyed a black vampire book, but this one had different spins and different takes on vampirism as a whole. And because Tigist is Ethiopian in Habesha, it was interesting to get an Ethiopian perspective, right? Because she ties not only just the characters, but the archaeological facts and findings and teachings all stem from ancestral ties to the old days. And I love that. I love the fact that I feel like I'm learning a little bit more, whether fictional or not, the book, about the culture in which I come from that I am not familiar with. And so she ties all of those elements not only into the storyline itself, but also to the characters. And I love that. I absolutely do. Now let's talk about the main female character, which is Kidan. And I have to say that I had to remember that this is a dark academia read and Kidan is only 19 years old. And with that being said, I know that there is still a maturity that's there and a thinking process and how she moves as a character. And I just found myself the majority of the book always saying, what the fuck, girl? Because the decisions that she was making, baby, I tell you, the amount of times I wanted to throw this fucking book across the room. And at one point, I absolutely did. And I bent it back here. That's how intense this book is, okay? But it's a great read. It was a 5-star read for me. Now, Kidan is faced with the decision at the very beginning of the book of seeking out her sister who she believes was taken, right? And she has gone through hell and back trying to find her sister. That even meant doing the unthinkable. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody because I want y'all to be able to read this book. And with that being said, she is approached about taking or inhabiting a house that has been left behind by her parents who were deceased at Uxley University. And this is a university that is well hidden by 3 binding factors, right? To keep the outside entities out and the Draeniacs, aka vampires, in, with the addition of 80 families that have been chosen to walk side by side with vampires in this community as companions. Now, there is a lot to be said and to unpack with what I just said. But if you read this book, you're going to understand how that came to be and the history behind it and why it worked and how it can be fractured if the inside is let in. I promise y'all, this book was dark, it was witty, it was hysterical at times because the people she meets along the way that she befriends, there is a lot of interconnecting humor with that, a lot of wittiness, a lot of darkness. But needless to say, it is fulfilling to watch these relationships crash and burn at times, especially the relationship that she has with Susenyos. Oh my God. The amount of passion that burns between her and him is just captivating. Okay. And this book was very well written and Tigist did her damn thing with this. I see why it got picked up. And I cannot wait to read book 2. But I'm trying to hold off because we don't know when the release date is going to be for book 3. And I often don't do rereads too close to having read a book already, so I'm trying to hold off on Eternal Ruins. But what I will say is that Immortal Dark, if you are the type of person who loves stories centered around vampires, right, or paranormal romance with elements or magical elements, Immortal Dark is going to definitely whet your palate. It is going to feed all of those things that you desire in a book when it comes to vampirism, plus more. It's going to also educate you as well. It's going to make you critically think not only about the world in which you have built for yourself, right? But also the world in its totality and how you view it and how it's shaped based off of what you think and how you view it. This book was very well written, and I'm so glad that I finally took the time to read it. And I want to thank Tigist because she was so genius in how she set this up from beginning to the end. And I'm looking forward to the next one. And I've been having this conversation over on Discord with some of the ladies from a part of the book club. And we have all come to the consensus that when this is all said and done, there will be two things that are going to come out of this. Somebody will have to die and somebody will cross over to become a vampire to be immortal forever. Y'all have a good one. Peace and blessings.